Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barcast TV and to another episode of Barcast Daily. It is June 10th, 2023. We've got a very special game for y'all, so let's go ahead and get to the replay. I'll introduce our players, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, playing as the red pieces. It's Raghna. And his opponent, spawning in the top right corner, playing as the blue pieces. It's Goopy. So we've got another game on Paradise Lost here, and this is taken from the Farmman Leagues. So for those of you who don't know, there's a 1v1 league going on between, I want to say there's 8 groups, so quite a few players, all skill levels included. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link in the description to the league and perhaps the Battlefy standings, and you can kind of take a look for yourself, see what's going on. But we're going to be featuring games from that league every week, so mainly people in the A and B group. If I see a match I'm kind of interested in casting, definitely take a look for it and try and find some good games for y'all. So I believe there's a prize pool for Group A, so we should be seeing some pretty high level games, at least in this A group. So that being said, check it out, and I'll be sure to bring some more of these games to you. So you see Goopy here going for this bot lab first opening on a C map, so I know he's just going to be getting like a resbot out, for instance, and a couple of construction bots. Meanwhile, Raghna has gone for this 4MX open, 4 wind turbines into shipyard. So pretty standard, I suppose, on a map with so much water, so many mexes in the water. Nothing wrong with making your first factory as a naval yard. So take a look at the, map for a little bit while these players get underway with their opening build orders. We see there's kind of like 2 main islands. I guess you could play like 4v4s on this map, 2v2s. Got an interesting geography here in the center. 2 of these mirrored islands with just a lot of little islands all kind of spread out. Definitely can put some like naval defenses on here, radars. I mean, I'm sure we'll see a lot of different kinds of play here on this map. So really looking forward to it. Kind of getting away from the Comet Catcher games. Not that everyone doesn't love a good 1v1 on a Comet Catcher. So see Raghna adding on an initial radar here, just kind of foregoing that. We can see this wind is dropping down a little bit, but he's just going to continue to make wind turbines, kind of biting his tongue a little bit while this wind speed isn't cooperating. And Goopy's finally stepping into the water here, so we can see his open is a little bit faster on the main island. He's got 6 mexes already completed. And let's take a look at the statistics here. We can see, yeah, that's translating to about a 350 mass advantage to our blue player for now. I'm sure that might be changing as Raghna has one of these construction ships kind of hugging the south side of the map, and it's going to add a little sonar here in the bottom mid corner of the map. Great little radar placement there. You can see units kind of coming out of this channel here. Should kind of stay defensive. I don't think we will see Goopy kind of moving down there looking for a radar anytime soon, so that should stay up for a long time. Even though I have one supporter, light gunship, kind of moving towards the Goopy side of the map. We have another supporter on the bottom mid side going forward, and Goopy's finally adding on some of the units of his own. So he's got a skater making its way out onto the map, and Goopy is going to be capping this last mex here. So kind of interesting move command here issued on this top side. We see Goopy's looking to kind of move into this little channel here. I'm wondering if he's going to be trying to secure one of these islands here in the center after that. Meanwhile, Raghna has 2 construction ships making their way onto the map, so he's going to be capping some of these mexes here, adding on sonar. Really just trying to gobble up as much as the map as quickly as he can. Split it in half, if you will. And has gone ahead and made an additional, so 3 of these construction ships out on the map. It's going to be a lot of build power going into expanding for our red player. Meanwhile, he has his commander in the main base just assisting this naval factory for now. And has made 1 initial orca, so we should be seeing that surface interaction here. We see Goopy already has 1 submarine out of his own, and this is kind of the not rock paper scissors matchup in naval battles, but like you have under the surface, on the surface, and even air units you kind of have to protect for in your unit composition. So subs are a crucial part of these naval battles. And I'm sure we'll see that come into play later on. Goopy kind of moving in with one of these, what's that, Corvette? One of these Dolphin Corvettes. Triggers a self-destruct, but ends up canceling that, so he feels like he can kind of get out with this unit. Didn't want to leave a wreck behind for his opponent to reclaim. And let's take a look at these main bases for now. We see Goopy adding on a lot of wind turbines with these construction bots. He has one of his shipyard just kind of trickling out units for now. I don't see any additional constructing ships. And our red player, he's got a lot of wind turbines out. I don't see him kind of increasing that economy with any kind of, what is it, tidal generator. And looks like Goopy's gonna possibly catch this constructor ship, so I'm not sure how long it takes one of these skaters to actually kill one of those. I think it's gonna go down. I don't see any units kind of around that. So a nice little pick off there from Goopy taking out this construction ship, even though, did that max finish? I believe it did. Yeah, it's producing metal, so all is not lost. It's able to get up 3 of those middle extractors, so really increasing the economy. Let's take a look at these statistics again. See, both players are about dead even, just within 100 mass of each other, so no real advantage. And finally, we see these subs going at it, so first shot gets dodged, one lands there, so I wonder why this one isn't actually firing. And that flanking damage, we see how much that torpedo did, and yeah, so that little first engagement goes to Goopy. He's got 3 subs in the map, moving towards this bottom channel. Should be able to take out these metal extractors here. And is this constructing ship going to end up going down? These corvettes are really fast, able to close the distance here and start firing. Is Raghna going to be able to save this in time? We have one assault frigate moving in, trying to find some damage here, and that construction ship ends up going down. So great catch there. And Goopy turns around, so one of these is going to end up going down and holds out with his other corvette. So nice little hit and run there. Catches a construction ship for free, essentially. Well, loses one corvette for it, but I'd take that trade any day. And these subs are going to kind of press their advantage. Raghna knows he can't contend with the 3 subs in the water for Goopy, and that's going to let Goopy kind of advance forward and take out these metal extractors. See how quickly those go down to the submarines here. And is Raghna going to lose another sub? Yeah, so that goes down. Now it's 3 against 1 again. So we have the sub advantage or subsurface battle going towards our blue player. That part of the naval advantage going towards him. And we have a lot of these supporters getting into the water against Goopy. He could have got a D-gun off there. Looks like Raghna's going to come back in and give him another opportunity. And no, so Raghna kind of gets away with his units there. Backs off. He's got 1 frigate and a couple of these light gunships. Those go down really quickly to the corvettes. And we see this sub battle, 3 versus 3 now. Goopy continuing to move in. Loses 1 sub, and it was one of Raghna's subs going to go down. So looks like 2 versus 1 now, and yeah, all of Goopy's subs end up going down to basically the production of Raghna there. So great job luring your opponent towards your production. Have another little naval battle going here on the top mid side of the map. Looks like Raghna's going to lose one of these frigates for free. Not paying attention with his units, and these light gunboats kind of sneaking past, continuing to look for construction ships or any kind of damage they can find. Meanwhile, Goopy's produced 3 more subs. We see they're heading down south to this channel here. We have another 2 in the water here, so making their way down. He knows the potential of submarines kind of sneaking through this channel. And this could be the challenging part about playing Navy on this map is you need sonar. You need sonar to see these ships. I mean, otherwise they'll be firing and you'll see the torpedoes, but you won't see what's shooting. And it can be really challenging to kind of balance what you have on top of the water to what you have below it to, you know, on top of everything else we have to manage in 1v1s, you know, expanding radar coverage, possibly teching into air. So just another layer of complexity on a sea map where you really have, you know, that's the epic scale RTS, so land, sea, and air. We should end up seeing, hopefully, some land units, some air units. We have 2 construction ships kind of assisting this naval factory, and a naval construction turret in the water here. So continuing to pump out frigates. Raghna adding on wind turbines here with his commander on his main island, and still has yet to kind of take control of this top island. Same for Goopy here. Both players kind of keen to neglect these middle islands here, and have another little sub engagement. So Raghna loses 1 sub, loses another, and this naval supremacy, I suppose, will swing back into the blue player's court, and that's going to force Raghna to retreat. Can't contend with the sub advantage here. Meanwhile, we have a little bit of a scuffle here on the left side of the map. A couple of these corvettes trying to find some damage. It's going to end up getting shut down by the riptides here of our red player, and Raghna was able to sneak through with a couple of these submarines, but Goopy was keen to it, so he's going to be able to track this down, or wants to get these subs taken care of. Is this going to go down? These torpedoes do not track, so you can definitely dodge them, but no, the sub ends up going down, and that's going to give Goopy the confidence to kind of move onto his opponent's side of the map, and we see immediately turns around, starts heading towards the red player. He wants to deny this channel from being traversed. Have another little scuffle here. We have some hovercraft actually finding their way onto the map. Goopy made one of these factories here on this top middle island, and is continuing to pump these out, looking for damage, but there's not a lot of structures here on the top side of the map, so everything is underwater. Most of the wind power is on Raghna's main base, his bottom left spawning location, so there's not a lot of damage to be had by these hovercraft. You can see, meanwhile, Goopy's moving forward with these subs from earlier, and Raghna went ahead and made a lot of torpedo launchers here, so Goopy's going to end up turning away. You can't contend with that, or you don't want to basically throw your mass into the static defense your opponent just made. You can kind of look for another angle, find where he hasn't made static defense, and kind of punish him that way. So that's what we see Goopy do. Just kind of turns around, doesn't need to take an engagement, and that is a lot of subs here. So nine subs, 1 scout. These hovercraft continuing to kind of skate across the water looking for damage, end up going down. And is this construction ship going to get caught out? Yeah, so these corvettes finding some damage, but meanwhile the frigate count is increasing for our red player, so he's up to 6 frigates now. Really trying to contest this, middle part of his side of the map. We see Goopy rotating a couple of hovercraft around, so found a way through. He's going to catch out one of these sonar towers, so that's a nice little pick up there. How much are those, actually? Sweeper, 85 mass apiece, so kind of comparable to a Blitz, a little cheaper than a Blitz. And we have a little bit of a naval battle here on the top side of the map. Hovercraft and these corvettes are going to move into Raghna's frigates here. Those are going to get dealt with, and Raghna has found this commander here on this top island, so Goopy's trying to get some damage done. A D-gun goes off, gets about 3 of these frigates here, but they're... What are the range on these units? 480 range to the commanders. What is it, 230? Oh, goodness. On the player view, that's why I can't see this card. 300. So definitely outrange the commander there, and Goopy almost lost his commander. He's at 5% health, so stepped out of range of those frigates and kind of pulls back. Meanwhile, on the bottom left side of the map, these hovercraft somehow found a way in. Got a decent amount of damage done. This has 7 kill Seeker here, so more than paying for itself, getting some of those wind turbines, I'm sure. Raghna continuing to expand on this bottom channel here, adding a forward radar. And finally, we see these subs kind of making the way onto Raghna's bay here. And a lot of torpedoes going off. That's going to force Raghna to retreat. You can't contend with these submarines. A couple of these frigates go down immediately here. Do those slow down those units after they hit? Looks like a lot of free damage go. Like 3 or 4 frigates end up going down. This sub should end up going down too. So Raghna needs to find a counter to this. Made a lot of build power here in the water he was sending across the map. 4 more construction ships, 4 more submarines here. So trying to contest this submersible presence, continuing to add on submarines here. And adding on a floating heavy laser tower. What is even the range on this thing? Not that far. I'm wondering if that is actually kind of like moves or whatnot. I've never seen that unit before. Surprised what kind of triggered him to create that. And meanwhile, these subs continuing to find damage, kind of using their domination over this part of the sea here to take out mexes at will. See, Raghna was able to kind of sneak in one of these construction ships here into this little bit of a graveyard. It's about 2,000 mass in that little area there, so definitely something that you want to contest over. Meanwhile, this hovercraft continuing to find damage, somehow taking out 2 more mexes. More wind turbines are going to go down, and we have another naval battle here, this time on Goopy's side of the ocean. These frigates came forward, found a couple of these construction ships, continuing to take that out. Meanwhile, Raghna is continuing to move forward, trying to cap these mexes on his opponent's side of the island. That's going to trigger Goopy to kind of come down here with these corvettes, so we'll see how well these do against the frigates of Raghna. Looks like Raghna was actually able to catch these subs out here on his side of the map, so really kind of swinging this naval pendulum back into his favor. Goopy trying to find some damage here, moving forward with his corvettes. These frigates are going to make short work of it. It seems like 5 frigates do pretty well against these corvettes. Just pulling back, trying to kite these units as best he can. Raghna's going to end up losing 2 of his construction ships though, so really good job. I think that was worth the trade in and of itself, getting those construction ships taken care of. And once again, there's a lot of reclaim sitting here, so about 2,000 mass. Excuse me. Sitting there for either player to take. Meanwhile, Goopy's moved back into the water. His commanders regenerated some health. Has added another shipyard here, trying to produce some more corvettes, but really, he needs to get more submarines in the water. I mean, he knows his opponent won Navy there, or excuse me, won that submarine war on this left side of the map, so really has to be aware of the amount of subs Raghna could have in the water. We have 2 separate naval battles going on simultaneously. One on the bottom side of the map. Looks like Raghna's gotten control of that reclaim field, and meanwhile, some more subs on this top side, shooing Goopy back, so that's going to force Goopy to put these offshore torpedo launchers, but are actually outranged by these subs, so I believe that's 500 range on these torpedo launchers, and the sub has, equal range, excuse me, so really, they should be able to deal with these. And is this game almost over? I mean, Goopy is commander is below 20%. Okay, so he's moving out of the water. This is a good move here. Doesn't want to be caught out against these subs here, and perfect timing. So the shipyard's going to go down, but the commander gets out for free. So really good game sense there, kind of protecting the unit. The unit, I suppose, back up to 29% health. So this blue commander isn't totally vulnerable here. Meanwhile, we have another naval battle here on the south side of the map. Goopy kind of pressing forward, thinking better of it, pulling back. Really wants to kind of gain control of his side of the bay here. We have Goopy adding on a torpedo launcher. I would like to see another sonar here. I think he's adding this on to kind of clear out this mechs. Which one of these is producing mass? That's kind of interesting. Never seen this. So it looks like the blue mechs here is producing mass, even though both of those have the same same mechs kind of capped. Meanwhile, these subs of Raghna moving forward, 15 kills apiece between these, and they're not done getting damage. So looks like this torpedo launcher is going to take out one of them. One more goes down. So really good job kind of cleaning these up. Another sub of Goopy's going to get out onto the map, and one sub of Raghna is left here. 7 kills. So much damage. Meanwhile, Goopy is moving on to Raghna's side of the map, so he's got 15 of these dolphins here. But Raghna's moved into air, so he's going to be paralyzing these ships as they roll forward, and he's got a lot of frigates to kind of clean this up, so that's going to force Goopy to kind of move back with his navy here. See, all those submarines on Goopy's side of the map are taken care of. There's a lot of reclaim here. So yeah, 1,300 reclaim sitting right there. I'd like to see more build power out of our blue player. Looks like he's floating a little bit of mass. He's got 600 in the bank here. Good power economy. And should be aware of this air presence. Yeah, so Raghna's got a couple bombers moving across the map. He's got one air scope, looking for the vulnerabilities here, and I'm wondering if our blue player is putting up any kind of anti-air. He's got one construction turret going up on his main island here. He's adding 2 of these anti-air towers, but I don't know if they're going to be up in time. These bombers are already dangerously close to this power production. This is going to be close. This this anti-air is almost up. The bomber is in range though, so we see 1 bombing run goes up, 2 more. That is a lot of the wind turbines end up going down. See, that knocked Goopy down about 300 power there. That's kind of good. He overbuilt that. Meanwhile, we have these frigates moving forward. Goopy remade the shipyard here in the top middle side of the map and doesn't have any subs to kind of contend this commander, so Goopy's going to be able to shoo away this little navy here with his own. Meanwhile, these bombers are still getting damage done. So many wind turbines going down, and this one last bomber has yet to be dealt with. Meanwhile, these frigates, 13 frigates, moving into Goopy's side of the map. And that's going to trigger a naval battle here. We have a lot of corvettes moving forward, trying to take out these frigates. Shuriken's coming up and kind of saving the day, so these frigates are going to be have more than enough DPS to kind of take out these corvettes. Both players kind of moving back away from each other, grouping up their navies. 11 dolphins, 1 eel, 8 skaters. And that's going to be another naval battle here, so these frigates kind of stepping forward. A couple of submarines here in the water for Raghna is going to force Goopy onto the mainland, and yeah, his commander's going to go down, so great job. Great game from both players. I'm sure that would have gone on if Goopy wasn't in the water right there, but that's the name of the game, and Raghna takes the game, so well played. And if y'all like these kind of Navy battles, let me know in the comment section, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next replay.